After nuclear warfare have destroyed Earth, there is still a verdant forest and a river in the desert. When a bunch of guys approach Furiosa and her friend, who are far from home, they cut the fuel hose for their motorcycle engine. After stabbing a man wearing a mask in the leg, Furiosa flees. Mary, her mother, responds to her daughter's call and comes to their aid. Along with others, they reside in a colony that is closed off to the outside world. Furiosa is cornered and knocked unconscious after Mary and her friends are rescued. One of the kidnappers is slain by Mary and her friends, and another is killed. The remaining soldiers eventually settle their differences after continuing to hunt for Furiosa and their adversaries. Mary finds their town by closely following the men, but one of them captures her. She lets the other one make it to the village while killing the one behind her. Dementus, unable to communicate due to his injuries, steps in and brings Furiosa home. A sandstorm moves toward the town as Mary poses as one of the guys. While a guard tends to Furiosa, Mary murders her. The lady caring for Furiosa pleads for her mother's forgiveness as she approaches her. A young girl named Furiosa is abandoned in a convent with her mother in this story. She finally encounters domineering males while riding a motorcycle with her mother, Mary. She sees her mother, who is bound to a wooden stick, with Dementus and his men after they have crossed the dune. The leader is taken prisoner by Dementus, who ties him to 5 motorcycles. Furiosa is imprisoned in a cage alongside Dementus' sage master and historian. Dementus instructs the 20 individuals who rejected him to compete for 5 positions inside his group. Dementus instructs the victorious fighters to start their motorcycles after the battle, shredding their former commander into 5 pieces. Furiosa gets stellar navigation directions tattooed on her arm. A young man with a wound on his forehead is encountered by Dementus' sizable party as they continue their trek. He suggests killing the local leaders in order to release the populace from oppression and incarceration. Furiosa witnesses Immortan Joe, the leader, and Scrotus and Russ, Joe's warrior sons, who are prepared to give their lives in order to save Dementus. Following the seizure of several motorcycles, Dementus drags Furiosa away and departs from the citadel. When Dementus and his soldiers get close to the town of Fuel, they find that the community's food and gasoline are exchanged. 10 guys are asked to pose themselves as war boys by Dementus and his ally, Octob Boss. Immortan Joe accepts the word from Zortan Joe, the town's lookout SE, and agrees to speak with Dementus. Immortan Joe is impressed when Dementus presents his daughter, Furiosa. Joe consents to accompany Furiosa to the citadel, where he shows her the huge vault that houses Immortan Joe's wives. Furiosa comes up with a scheme to conceal her hair and get away from Russ's mistreatment. After a few months, Furiosa is promoted to operator and manages to survive by posing as a boy. A mute named Furiosa works on the Great War Machine construction crew. The machine is on its way to the gasoline town after months of building. The van is attacked by some Dementus rebel motorcycle riders, but the defending forces are able to eliminate their adversaries. Jack keeps speeding up the machine while Furiosa disarms a bomb and repairs a flaw in the main engine. Together, Furiosa and Jack battle adversaries, such as a war child who gives his life and ruins the car. The attacker and his gear are destroyed as Furiosa scales the vehicle and fires a harpoon. When Hosa aims a gun at Jack, he overwhelms her and ejects her. After Furiosa makes the decision to follow Jack and become a Praetorian, they reach Bullet Farm, the 3rd desert stronghold. After being given a carbine, Jack promises to help Furiosa recover. After they reach Gasoline Town, Dementus attacks the vehicle and fails to identify Furiosa. Jack is told by Dementus to depart without the agreed-upon gasoline, and they go out a gate. Immortan Joe announces their intention to take severe revenge for Dementus's lies. At Bullet Farm, where they gather supplies, Jack and his convoy come into a trap and must eliminate as many adversaries as they can. After assisting Jack in eliminating his adversaries, Furiosa bursts through the gates. Jack accelerates the war machine in the direction of Dement's soldiers and shoots a flare into the air. Dementus, who is hiding behind a tower, is almost struck by Furiosa. Jack strikes Furiosa with a rocket, but the explosion results in a collapse. The war machine becomes entangled in a big crane, but Furiosa escapes the attack. Jack and Furiosa are in danger when Furiosa saves her friend by jumping from a motorcycle. They make their way to the gate and escape in Furiosa's vehicle. Furiosa's automobile is unable to scale the fence, while Dementus attempts to do it with his monster truck. Dementus wounds Furiosa's arm on the wheel of the automobile after shooting one of the men. Furiosa is compelled to witness her companion being tortured by Dement's dogs and dragged by the motorcycle. Due to a shortage of fuel, Furiosa loses her motorcycle and must continue walking to the Citadel. She says she is from Pretoria and is brought to Morton Joe's sons. After analyzing the situation, Joe and his lawyer conclude that Dementus has ruined Gasoline Town. Joe and Furiosa make the decision to fool the enemy into believing they are going to Gasoline Town. Furiosa takes a car and flees as the fight rages on, creating mayhem and fatalities. Furiosa discovers the right course and keeps pursuing her adversary as the brothers quarrel over who will do so. Two support motorcycles are forced into a desert pit after being knocked down by Furiosa. She chases the final motorcyclist after witnessing another being ambushed and killed by other motorcyclists. Dementus believes he is secure as he enters a sandstorm. When he awakens, he discovers his motorcycle's water canteen cut and tireless. At the summit of the dune, he hears a shadowy figure and questions why he didn't kill him right away. He gives up, and Furiosa confesses to being the one who hurt her.